All right, we are live here on Facebook and on YouTube, and we're going to be settling in here a little bit while people are finding us. And I'm delighted to be here today with my friend, Lauren Jubelirer, who is an incredible wise woman, so much depth, so much wisdom that she has to share. I always love being here with her because I learned so much. And I'm delighted to have her here. We have done, this is going to be our third live stream that we've done, really focusing on these high holy days in the in the earth-based spirituality of the equinoxes and the solstices. I hope we'll continue to do that because it's fun to do. So today we're going to dive in and talk a bit about the super potent alignment that is coming up this on Sunday and Monday. And I know I've already been feeling it. I feel like I've already been in the eclipse energy for a few days here. I'm like, whoa, what is going on? So we're heading into a new moon in Virgo and an eclipse, and also into the Libra equinox. So I just want to say welcome, Lauren. I'm so glad that you're here.
It's great to be here.
Yeah.
I've never run a live before, so.
Yes. So send Lauren some good juju because she's just being brave today. She's stretching beyond her earlier boundaries. So we're happy about that. And and as you're coming on, if you do want to just whatever platform you're on, if you want to say hello, go ahead and let us know where you're coming in from. And then do feel free to add in comments and questions as we go along. We're pretty much going to just head into what we're doing, but we will check back in to see what it is that you want to know about. And it's nice for us when we get to hear from you too. So I do want to have just a couple of announcements. First, one is I want to let you know that yesterday I did release on my YouTube channel a video from a human design point of view that goes into depth about this particular alignment that's going on. So if you want to get that, go ahead and check it out on my YouTube channel. And then the other thing is next week I'm doing a special challenge. It's called the Best Choice Challenge. It's going to go on all week. It's going to be live streamed on YouTube and on Facebook. And so it's free to join. But if you want to come in for coaching, if you want to get all the materials, if you want to really have the full experience of participating, then you do need to register for that. The link for it is down in the description of these events, this event that's happening today. And so do go ahead and register and come and play with us about that. It's so much about how are we at a time when things are changing so much, and what we used to be able to refer to help us make good decisions really isn't so relevant in the way that it used to be. What do we do now? And how can we really hack our survival brain so that we're not just run into fear? And how can we liberate ourselves from left brain dominance so that we can allow our intuition and our inner guidance really to blossom, and we can be living from that place and connecting that to our human design authorities. So that's what we're doing next week. Check it out in the description below, and love to have you come and join us. Okay, so that is our announcements for today. So let's go ahead and dive in, Lauren. I know this is just such an incredible thing for these two events to be happening within a 24-hour period. So let us know, what is your perspective on how we can digest this, because there's not just an eclipse and it's not just the equinox, but we've got this super potent eclipse happening, and then right away we're moving into a different elemental energy. So give us your perspective on that.
Okay. Well, we can say that this is a double activation, and we can say that it's a huge wave of consciousness that's taking us in two directions. One is release and letting go, and one is stepping into what's new. And they're both happening at the same time, and they are happening for our benefit. And what I want to talk a little bit about the sacred, when we talk about eclipses and we talk about equinoxes and solstices and specific astrological alignments, we're talking about sacred timing. And so we want to know, what is the timing that we're in? When we talk about the as above, so below mysteries, we don't really understand how it is that these astrological alignments are affecting us. Are they a reflection of our own soul? Are the energies that they're creating shifting the frequency, or is it both of those things? It's both of those things, but it's still part of the great mystery. And to understand what time it is, we look to these timings. So one of the things that's happening is an eclipse. And an eclipse, a solar eclipse, eclipses happen twice a year, every 6 months. And they're
And they
wet.
come in pairs. So
And
this
they
is
always come in pairs. So there's a lunar eclipse and a solar eclipse. So the lunar eclipse happened on September 7th, and the solar eclipse is happening on September 21st, just within 24 hours of the equinox. And they need to be taken together. And another aspect of this is that on August 24th, we had a new moon in Virgo. And that's really when this gateway actually opened, because this eclipse on the 21st is a new moon. So we have 2 new moons in Virgo in 1 month, which is a blue moon, which is rare in and of itself. And the equinox energies and the eclipse energies, they always open a few weeks to a month in advance. So you start to feel the energies that are getting heightened. And they're energies that are inviting us into transformation in very specific ways. And so on August 24th, we had a new moon at 0 degrees Virgo, the very beginning, the first. And this one's at 29 degrees. And the full moon was at was when the sun was at 15 degrees. So we have like a Virgo extravaganza this month.
It's like this whole, right?
The width. So, and the 9th degree is called the wisdom degree. It's also called, it's the culmination point. So, and when we have an eclipse, what's happening is that the sun, the earth, and the moon are all lining up. This actually shifts the electromagnetic frequency of the earth. And also when we have an equinox, we have the sun tracking along the equator, also shifting the electromagnetic frequency of the earth. So they're very high times for ceremony. Mm-hmm. And they're both times that the veils between the worlds become thin. And this eclipse is happening on the south node. Right now, the south node's in Virgo and the north node's in Pisces, and they're a pair. They support each other. And what we're being asked to do is to release some of what the Virgo Mystery School has been carrying in its shadow, and creating more of a dynamic support between the earthy Virgo and the cosmic Pisces, so that Virgo is taking direction from our intuitive guidance and from our soul. And what I want to talk about is the Virgo Mystery School. And
I was going to say, tell us more about the Virgo Mystery School, Lauren.
Virgo Mystery School has been, sometimes I'm very shocked when people come to see me and they're very upset because this is in Virgo or that's in Virgo and someone told them that's a bad thing, or your Venus in Virgo is in da, 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 da. And I feel that the Virgo Mystery School has been very misunderstood and mischaracterized by medieval astrologers. That's gotten carried through to now. So every archetype has a shadow. And the shadow of Virgo is that Virgo can be very overly focused on the details. These are things we know. Virgo can be very critical, cold, judgmental, and sort of addicted to self-improvement, because and seeing oneself as what's wrong that I can fix. And Virgo can be in service to, as a place from I'm deficient, so I'll be in service to others. So maybe then I'll earn some sort of goodness, or I'll feel better about myself. That is the shadow of Virgo, but that is pretty how much Virgo often gets described to people. People who have their Venus in Virgo are often told, well, the loving, but Virgo is part of the ancient mysteries, part of the ancient indigenous cultures that were held in high regard. And of course, the medieval astrologers, many of them were monks, and they were killing these people. They were killing the priestesses and the shamans and the mystics and the healers and the medicine people. And so when they were describing the mystery school that contained these people, they also wrote about it from the perspective of the shadow. And so, yes,
and Lauren, can I just ask you, this is true for much of the astrology, right? It's not just Virgo. Is that correct?
No, certain mystery schools are particularly
Or
mischaracterized.
particularly probably the ones to do with the divine feminine more, right?
Yeah, although people like Cancer, because Cancer, you can correlate that to something that was valued in that culture, the mother, the nurturer, the cosmic mother, the divine mother, even in the
Okay.
it's the ones that didn't fit the cultural paradigm that did not get described, and the ones that really describe powerful, mystical, magical people. And Virgo is the medicine people.
Yeah, I just remember we talked about how Mars got co-opted,
Yeah.
right? Mars got really co-opted
Yeah.
and turned into this god of war,
Right.
and all of that. So
Right.
anyway, go ahead.
So Virgo is about being honoring and being a mystery school that is about honoring and dedicated to the earth, to be really deeply loving the earth, Gaia, the spirit of the earth, and to be the one who is tending to this relationship with the earth, to the elements, to the people, and is deeply honoring and dedicated to serving all life. Virgo loves to be dedicated to one's sacred work, to know what one is to do. Virgo is a sign of earth sign that likes to be involved with action. And Virgo is also associated with the spider woman's goddess of the spider woman. And the spider woman, she co-creates the web of life with the divine.
Yeah.
So it's that seeing the beautiful web of life, that iridescent, sparkly web of life, and how things work together, and how the organic world works, how the soul works, so Virgo loves to work with systems. So astrology is a Virgo system, acupuncture, the different, human design, it's these patterns, looking at patterns and how can we reweave the pattern so that there is more harmony, that there is more beauty, there is more health, there is more vibrancy. And so this can translate into seeing, oh, here's another pattern that needs to be rewoven. Oh, here's another pattern that but healthy Virgo sees that even the patterns that need to be rewoven are part of the pattern, that we're not here to be perfect. We're here to be present and to be truthful about who we are, and that our fracture points and our challenges are part of our curriculum. They're not a mistake.
Right.
And healthy Virgo really understands that. And healthy Virgo is a healing energy, profoundly healing energy, and loves to heal the sacred web using sound and herbs and colors and all the medicine tools. Virgo also loves to be ceremonial, to sing the sunrise up, to do the ceremonies around the solstices and the equinoxes, to really create sacred space for people. The Virgo women were the ones that would create the moon lodges, a time to be away from your daily life, to be with your sisterhood, and to be massaging with oils and singing and creating sacred space. And Virgo is also very interested in creating sacred space and sacred time in daily life and how we bring the sacred into the daily life. So just wanted to say, it's that shamanic energy, the shamanic beings and people, and the priestesses, the ancient priestesses, is the Virgo energy. And yes, there is great love in this archetype, but the shadow and what we are transmuting at a South Node eclipse, the shadow of the archetype comes up. And Virgo and Pisces are dynamic partners. So Pisces is the connection to infinite love, infinite healing. It is the ocean of bliss, the ocean of love. It is that felt sense that love is reality, that we are made of love. But it's very expansive and big. And also Pisces is about accessing intuitive guidance and the energy of our soul. And Virgo brings it into the body and chunks it down so that we can bring it into our lives in a meaningful, tangible ways to be of benefit to the people and to the earth and to all of life.
Mhm.
So they work together. So they're partners. And so what we're doing is we're strengthening the partnership. But when the North Node's in Pisces, we're getting a lot of transmissions from the realms of love, from the realms of guidance, from the realms of compassion and oneness. And in order for Virgo to be a better bringer of this into the world, Virgo's being asked to release and reset some of the places that we get stuck as human beings, which is a place of being addicted to perfection instead of that life is a process that is continuously unfolding, that we're never getting to perfection. And also seeing what's wrong with us and what's wrong with the world and focusing on that. So because the eclipse brings things up, its job is to take you into a place that you've been in a holding pattern. And I talk about like a pot with like something burned on it, with Brillo. It's like scraping it off. So you may have been in a place of noticing where you might have been acting from a place of wounding, acting from a place of reactivity or fear, and feeling bad about it. Like, I shouldn't be in this place. Look at all the work that I've done. How am I still? But and this eclipse and the equinox energies, for so many technical reasons, that presence, that big presence in our heart, that big mother energy, and that big cosmic compassionate self is being expanded to hold space for the other aspects of ourselves that are scared or angry or frustrated, and even scared or angry and frustrated with ourselves for not being more of the perfection that we sort of think we should be, and for the world of being where the world is. And there's so much chaos and overwhelm. But the time that we're in is a time of eclipses, and the time around eclipses brings up the shadow, the corruption, the darkness. It spills it out so that we can see it, so that we can transmute it. And sometimes that can create so much overwhelm that we forget that the medicine of this is to be able to hold that space so it can move.
Yeah.
And so I'm going to stop, and I want you to share from your perspective, and then I want to share a personal story about this.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. No, we got plenty of time. I mean, I think what I'm just loving hearing you say this, and when you're talking about these kind of qualities of energy and about the big heart. And I do actually want to show this one image to people, which you might need to screenshot it and zoom it in, but I'm just going to point to it here. This is the human design mandala for the equinox, which is almost exactly the same as the one for the eclipse. They're very, very similar. But what I want to point out here is here we've got the sun, and during the eclipse, the moon would be here too. And they're both in the gate 46, which is the gate of the love of the body. And they are resting on the earth and Saturn and Neptune, all of them in the gate 25, which is the love of spirit. And this is, we've already moved to the Aries Libra axis here with the equinox, right? But they're very, very similar. And one of the things to note is both the 46 and the 25 straddle astrological signs. So the 25 straddles Pisces and Aries, and the 46 straddles Libra and Virgo. So they contain within them this shift between the different axes that are going on. And so we've been having these guys over here moving back and forth through Pisces and Aries. And this is continuing because Neptune and Saturn are retrograde, and we're going to have this them going back into Pisces. But the other thing I want to show you, so if you see this yellow axis here, that means it's on the G center, which in human design is what we think of as the heart. But they also have, so in the 88 days prior, which is the previous imprint of where the planets were, this is what creates the incarnation cross. And you can see here that 88 days prior, we had the Earth in the gate 10, and we had Jupiter and the Sun in the gate 15, 88 days prior. Now, from a human design point of view, we would see this as a kind of seed point. It's kind of a seed point for what's going to come later, which is more what the black numbers are. And what I want to emphasize here is the gate 10 is the love of self, it's self-love, and the 15 is compassion or love of humanity. And so we're all of these here, they're all on the G center. This particular incarnation cross is called the vessel of love. So we're being held here in this process that you're just describing, Lauren, even if you're like scrubbing with your broom on your old patterns, you're being held during that time in this vessel of love. You're being held, but to say that if you can really ground yourself, because this is where the earth is, we want to ground ourselves in that love of spirit. We want to be saying, okay, the most important thing I can be doing right now is really grounding myself in my own awareness of my own spiritual aspect and really cultivating my relationship with whatever non-physical supports that we work with. And that as we do that, we are better able to move into the love of the body. We're better able to embody. And I do think that the degree to which we are accepting and loving ourselves and the degree to which we're accepting and loving humanity is going to be influencing those other pieces as well. They are a bit more unconscious, and so you may not be as aware of them. But just to say that we really benefit from being able to understand, like you were just saying, Lauren, like this is not just that we're being punished because we were bad, or it's not our karma coming up to cut us off at the knees, or it's about our ability to continue to transform and grow and evolve, held by the love of spirit, right? Knowing that, okay, this is kind of intense what we're going through, but guess what? We're not alone, right? We're being held here.
Right.
And the more we can love ourselves, love each other, love our bodies. So our bodies are going through a lot right now. All the solar storms, all the radiation that's happening. You're talking, Lauren, about the changes of the Earth's magnetic field, right? As the planets are changing and the moon is changing, their relationships to each other. It's a lot, right? And we just kind of carry on thinking, well, I drink my water and, I'm doing okay. But we don't realize, like, I've been really paying attention lately about how is my body feeling and what does she need? Because it's not the same as it was. She's changing. What she needs is changing. And it's not just seasonal. So part of us, our ability to actually leverage and make the most out of this particular alignment is how much we can step into embodiment and how much we can step into the love of the body. We're not ascending, like leaving the body. We're actually evolving ourselves inside the body, which also means that the body has to evolve in order to hold more light.
And
right?
that's the beauty of Virgo, is the love that Virgo is helping us to embody these very high dimensional frequencies we're continuing. I mean, it's just continuing, and we're doing a really good job with that. Actually, although the reflection in the culture is not manifesting. And I do want to, if it's
just the superficial outer media culture,
right. What's being
thrown at us.
But in fact, yes, many things are changing. So I was having, if it's okay, I was having a moment with myself. I am in Montauk, New York, and Montauk, New York is a place of very high frequency or very altered frequency. If you've ever heard of the Montauk Project, you really do feel altered here, and it's surrounded by ocean. And I'm here with my mother.
Just so if people don't know, it's at the very end of Long Island. Very, 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 and Long Island is a really long island. How long is it? It's really long.
So it's on one side is the sound, and the other side is the ocean. There's like maybe 2 or 3 miles in between. It's windy and wild. And my mother lives here, and I've been with my mother for 3 weeks, and I adore my mother, and she's getting much older. And so I've been dealing with my own reaction to things I've been noticing about her changes. But I've also, I was at the beach. I take my dog to the beach every morning at around 7 a.m. And, during the midweek of September on a gray day, there's nobody really at the beach. So we get it all to ourselves. And I was asking, okay, Spirit, show me, what is this timing really all about? Give me the experiential of it, which I often do. And then I just dropped into a very deep feeling space of my own, early in my childhood, how lonely I felt most of the time, and how I felt like I was dropped onto a planet where nobody understood me, nobody. And I had the golden ha-has, these beings of light that loved me and watched over me, and which was amazing, but I didn't realize how amazing it was. But I still felt very lonely and very misunderstood and very dropped here. And so I'm like feeling all of this, and I'm kind of like saying to Spirit, I want you to drop down now in human, like physical form, because I'm tired of, I'm a shamanic healer and teacher, and I've been doing this work for 35 years. So I do have an enormous amount of connection to the non-physical, to non-physical healers and doctors and support teams. But I was kind of being like, I'm just going to say bratty about, because so much magic in my life. I was like, I'm sick of you not being informed. I want you to like appear now. And I was not saying this to anyone. This is like a fight I'm having with myself in my brain while I'm walking my dog at the beach on this very gray day, this very beautiful gray day. And then all of a sudden I hear behind me, hey, look out there. There's a whale. And the entire sky was gray, except there was this little sliver of sun coming through, pointing to a point on the ocean. And they said, look to the light, look at the light. So I looked to where the sliver of light is on the ocean, and a big giant whale just breaches.
Wow.
And I'm like, wow. Now, I feel very connected to whales and dolphins, as I'm sure most of you do too. And there really been hardly any whale sightings here all summer. And I was feeling sad about that too. So in that moment, when I asked for it, boo! And I feel very connected to whales and dolphins because I do believe they are part of the Syrian emissaries here on planet Earth. And I do believe that many of the healing masters and teams are connected to the planet Sirius. And and I feel very connected to that realm and have spent time there and feel like my guides and teachers are from there. But I was still in a state of feeling inadequate and feeling whatever. So I was like, well, whales are in the ocean. Maybe. And I was still feeling that feeling. It was like more was being scraped from my heart of the feeling of lack or the feeling of loneliness got scraped. And then all of a sudden I heard, how about this? And I looked out, and the sky and the ocean were iridescent blue. I was not microdosing or doing anything. And I saw thousands of blue orbs. And that's when I was like, oh my God. And what came through was that we are with you, not you, Lauren Jubelirer. We are with you all. We are in your oceans. We are in the clouds. We are embedded into the physicality of Earth. You can't often see us, but right now the veil was opened for me to see reality beyond. And many people are speaking about this. And what then I felt was a total blissed out love, dissolve into the ocean, dissolve into the light, feeling held by love, feeling very much gratitude. And when I got home and I reflected about this, one more piece came through, which is that when my son was about 9 or 10, I was in an apprenticeship with a Mongolian shaman for a couple of years, and he would take us into the wilderness. And he was very much a Virgo guy. And he was like, if you want to learn shamanism, you have to be deep with the earth. You can't just go into a hotel room and do stuff. Go into nature. So he'd bring us out into nature. And he was very much feeling like to open up the gateways in the body for journeying and for spirit, not without the need to take medicine. So that's what he was all about. So he took us to Mount Shasta, and I asked if I could bring my son, because it was all about opening up the veil to see spirit in all life, which is a very Virgo thing, to be able to see the spirit in all life and behave as if all of that were true, and to work with it. So I did bring my son, and we did a ceremony one night where we meditated and we sang songs, and I opened my eyes, and there were thousands of orbs. So we could see the beings that live at Mount Shasta, these thousands. And it was the same thing that I was seeing on the ocean. And what I heard inside is that what I wanted to give to my son, which is when kids get to be 9 or 10, they start to lose sometimes a connection to the magical life that they had as children. And I wanted him to have something tangible so that when he got older, he could remember it, because he would be old enough to remember it. And Spirit was saying to me in this moment, you're losing, like, we want you to remember this moment. Where are you? Like the mother energy of Lauren, or the Jupiter in Cancer energy, which Jupiter's in Cancer now, this very nurturing, caring energy, was like being a mother to the child in me that was really wondering, is it going to be okay? Am I insane? Have I like been just dealing with these invisible beings my whole life, as partnering in my work and my life? And I'm really like basically cuckoo. I was wondering that. I was like, what is my life? And it was like, remember the magic in this moment, because it was undeniable. The whale was undeniable. This was undeniable, but also this sense of, and this is also part of this timing of the North Node in Pisces, but also these magical activations that are happening around the equinox and the eclipse, which is that we have the huge, big initiating planets of Uranus and Pluto and Neptune and Saturn, all having a conversation with each other. Some of them are trining, some of them are sextiling. What that means is that they're flowing together. They're singing to each other. They're singing to us. They're creating new harmonics and new frequencies that have never been seen here before. And both the eclipse point and the equinox point are in this sacred geometry with this. And so they're constellating in this beautiful new energy, new frequencies, cosmic light, and also the dwarf planets are very, very involved with all of this. And they are these planets have to do with it, bringing in indigenous wisdom and bringing in wisdom or energy and frequencies around regeneration, repair, healing, holding space, cosmic light. So as the shadow's coming up, as the eclipse is pulling up the shadow, and as Mars is squaring Pluto, which is like scouring, like pulling up the gunk, the darkness, what we consider darkness or shadow or corruption, and the wars and the hatred and all of it, and how we do that to ourselves. There's also this incredible light that is getting stronger, that is being brought in through the eclipse portal and through the equinox portal, that is filled with the cosmic light that we need to digest and ground and become in order to take the steps that we need to take to bring these new earth energies into our daily lives, into physical form. And all of this is going to be speeding up and speeding up and speeding up at the same time that the unraveling is going to be speeding up and speeding up and speeding up. And so we came here to be part of this because we have done this before on many planets. We're the transition team. We know how to do this, but that doesn't mean that it doesn't hurt, that we don't sometimes cry, that we don't experience grief, that we don't experience anger or self-doubt. Are we going to do it? Are we going to make it? And but when we open and we ask Spirit for support, what we find, if we access that still point, and the equinox at 0 degrees Libra brings us into the 0 degrees, which is a still point, which is a point of balance and harmony. Libra is an incarnation of Venus. Libra is about bringing ourselves further into relationship with one another, with all of life, and being in healthy partnerships, including with the different parts of ourselves. And so when we slow down and we access that still point, or we even go to a place like I was, which was a place of deep despair, that can bring us into stillness too. It's like we're bringing out the rag, we're clearing it out, and then we're open. Meditation, dance, song can bring us there, where we're opening to this beauty that is, we're having the very high dimensional energies that we are, and that are supporting us merging into physicality. And that is what the Uranus-Neptune conjunction is about. And you can take it from here. about the Uranus and Neptune conjunction and how that is in how you relate to that and how human design sees that and where it is right now and all of that.
Well, actually, I wanted to go back to something you mentioned earlier, because I think for our, I guess what I want to just say to any of you who are on here live or who are going to watch this replay later, is if you've been feeling a little crazy lately, you're not alone. Like, we are in, like, everything Lauren's been talking about is helping us understand that we are in the midst of many different forces that are pulling us in different directions simultaneously. And the process of letting go, the process of dissolving, the process of the Brillo pad on us, right? The process of having, like, for me personally, I would say I feel like, especially really the last year and a half, but it's gotten more strong this year and even the last few months. It's like I feel like the places I'm being taken to in order to witness and heal and release inside myself are getting older and deeper and older and deeper and older and deeper. And that is a process that can feel kind of crazy making as it's happening, especially if you don't have a framework to help you understand what's going on. Because otherwise you can be like, why am I so nutty right now? Like, why did this thing come up, right? Or why is that happening? And yet, if we can be holding that experience, like with ceremony, like with ritual, even just going back to that self-love principle, right? That just being able to say it is going to be okay, even though I might feel like I'm in distress right now, or I might feel uncertain about what's going on, or if I look at certain things, it creates anxiety inside of me. That as we, like, the way that I'm holding that for myself is every time fear comes up, I'm like, it's another layer I get to let go. It's yet another layer that I need to let go, because I'm not really a fear-based person. That isn't like the thing that I tend to go to, and yet there's been a lot of fear, especially this last year and a half. And I'm like, yeah, because this is what we really, in order to liberate ourselves, we need to deal with the fear, right? We need to be able to experience it and not believe it and not feed it. Like, there's another layer of the fear. How do I help to dissolve that? How can Pisces help me dissolve it, right? How can Neptune in Pisces be like, let's just keep clearing this out, right? Again, held by that great love and that great energy. But the other thing is, simultaneously, we are also creating. We are also looking for the new, because these are seed points for, like, an eclipse is a seed point for up to 6 months. The equinox is a seed point for 3 months. So these are things that we are seeding, and and every new moon is always like, what are you going to be seeding? What are you going to be creating during this nation? What are you going to be creating during this season? And it's a dynamic and sometimes very destabilizing experience to be going back and forth between these simultaneously. And it's kind of related to me in my body, my psyche, is the polarization that we see in the world, where we can be like going, is it this, is it that, is it this, is it that? What do I believe? I don't know. It's like this thing. How do we come into this, like you said, the still point? How do we come into this place of calm and still inside of us, where we can let that go on out there, or we can feel the different processes going on inside of ourselves, but we can be that eye in the hurricane, right? We can be that still point. And that's what you're saying, like, moving into that Libra 0 point can give us that experience. And I think that this is one of the most important things we can do, is how do we cultivate our relationship to that still point? So whatever happens, right, we can always come back to that. I love Vivian Chauvet calls that divine neutrality, right? It's just, how do we come into this divine place of being neutral? And when I say that, I don't mean everything that's happening in the outer world I agree with. It's not about that. It is about not being reactive to it and not being manipulated by it, so that we can come into this place where we are held by the love of spirit and our bodies are regulated and attuned enough that our frontal lobes can be online and that we can have some agency during this time, rather than feeling like we're just at the mercy of all these things that are happening. So just to bring that piece in, because a lot of people are experiencing a lot of turmoil. Yeah. So.
And these alignments that are happening out there are happening in here. It really is as above, so below. So let's talk about Neptune and Saturn, which are conjunct and will be, they're both moving back into Pisces. Saturn is there now, and Neptune will be moving back. And then in February, they conjunct again, exactly in 0 degrees Aries. So they're getting ready to seed a new 30-year cycle. And we are in the process of releasing and looking at, what do I need to let go of? And it's not that this is happening inside of us. It's that these things are describing processes that are happening. And Neptune right now is much stronger than Saturn. And Neptune does dissolve our sense of self. I experience it like wallpaper. Like, I don't have any wallpaper in my house. I don't really like wallpaper, but I feel like, wallpaper is, it's glued onto the wall. And I am experiencing in my life right now that the beautiful life that I have created for myself, that it's not sticky, it's not holding. It's like the glue that's holding it together is just unraveling, not through trauma, not through bad things happening. It's just that the curriculum that I was in is no longer holding. It's no longer.
It's a frequency shift.
Yes.
Right?
And many people are experiencing this. And where the trauma comes in, or the uncomfortableness, is, again, and this is a shadow Virgo thing, thinking we're supposed to know who we are, what we're doing, why we're doing it, or how it's going to all work out, or we have to have our plan and we have to commit to the plan. And we have to have, and this energy with the North Node in Pisces and Saturn conjunct Neptune, we are being carried by a current that is much bigger than our personalities, that is much bigger than our egos. And when we surrender to that current, we know how to be with it.
Oh, and I just want to say, Lauren, the North Node is in the gate of surrender in human design.
Oh, okay. Yeah. That trying, and this is again that South Node in Virgo, trying to figure it out. Get the list. We will drive ourselves crazy, and we have. Me, I have done a bit of that in certain, building a house. Trying to do that from another country, but it is. And yes, we do need to have like papers signed. You need to do stuff like that. You need to build a foundation if you're building a house. You need to put the walls up. But none of that's going to happen, whatever that is for you, in the old way, because the curriculum has shifted, the frequency has shifted, what has worked in the past does. And so we can, in that void space, which we are in that middle, in that place where the caterpillar is becoming the butterfly and the caterpillar is dissolving, it can feel, you can be like, ah! Or you can trust the process that you are becoming a butterfly and there's nothing you can do to stop it. And I want to bring in the issue. So one way to bring yourself back in is to practice surrender, and to practice going into your heart and trusting that you have a deep presence that's growing inside of you. Your access to your higher self is badass strong right now, and can hold all the other parts of yourself with love and tenderness, and can even give them the attention and the care and the focus that they need. And guess what happens? When you let something inside of you that's scared speak to you, you listen with passion, with curiosity, with care, and it dissolves. And that's like that Neptunian, that big love, it will take into it and then change it. And then we know how to be. We're not going to be, and with Libra energy coming in right now, it's also learning how to be in collaboration with people and with each other, and to value each other's differences. Understand, Libra is about the big round table. It's about the circle. It's about
Yeah.
people coming together and valuing each other's voices, even though they're different, even though we don't always understand each other. And it's the mediator and the peacemaker. And it is about learning to cultivate that within us. With Pluto squaring Mars right now, we do see the acute perception of what we're missing here. So we do have these very loud voices in the world that are not feeling like peacemaking. They're not, the reality is not peacemaking. The reality is stirring up the differences in all over the world and in many different ways. And so it is up to us to find that energy within ourselves and understand that as we cohere to these higher octaves and we allow these mystery schools to teach us and train us how to be with them and how to bring it out in us, we contribute to the world by being in coherence with these higher octaves of ourselves, and that we cannot get there by denying and repressing all the other stuff. All that does is, like I said, it makes us sick, and it creates attractor fields that attracts exactly what we don't want. And so I do want to just, if it's okay, to talk about that there are these trines and sextiles to both points with Pluto and Uranus and Saturn and Neptune, and these dwarf planets are there as well. And one of the dwarf planets, one of the planets that's trining is Uranus, is at in Gemini, and Sedna is at 1 degrees Gemini, and Uranus is there. And this will happen again in May, by the way. And Uranus is about opening up to higher consciousness, to higher frequencies, to opening up to new perspectives. But also Uranus is the great awakener and the trickster and the disruptor. And Uranus will disrupt however Uranus needs to disrupt to bring about transformation, change, and awakening. And Sedna is with him right now, with Uranus right now. And the myth of Sedna is that she was an Inuit woman, girl. She was married off to a man who abused her, and she called her father to get her, and he got her. But then the whole villages said, you can't do that. That's not the structure of our world. You got to go back to him and just submit to the abuse. And her father and she, tried to escape in a canoe, and they came after her. And the father was like, I don't want to get in trouble. So he threw her off into the water, and she climbs back into the canoe. And then he cuts her fingers off, and then she becomes the Inuit goddess of the sea, and her fingers become dolphins and whales, and her fingers become all the sea creatures that create the abundance for the Inuit people. And I think what is most striking, there's so many things so striking about this, and it is something for us to be looking at, because this myth lives in us, and it's being brought to our attention with this particular cycle through Uranus, which is about waking us up to all the ways that we keep going back into structures that we think that we think are going to bring stability or safety, but they're really betraying us. And it's parts of ourselves, our patterns that are outdated, but it's also parts of our culture that we got used to, but they don't work for us. And we know that, and we keep climbing back on. But the amazing thing about the story is that Sedna doesn't have to figure out, how am I going to get out of this situation? Her soul has already orchestrated the entire thing. Her soul and has already orchestrated her metamorphosis into the goddess of the sea. She didn't have to surrender. She was pushed. And yet it happened anyway. And that we, as humanity, we are going through a profound metamorphosis that we don't fully understand. And that our soul growth, our souls have orchestrated this. And to trust the process, even as the process is uncomfortable at times.
Yeah.
So do you have anything you want to say about that?
Yeah, I do. I think when you talk about Sedna, the first thing is I always go, oh my God, like what an experience to have, right? But the other is like how many, and this is for those of you who are watching now or watching the replay later, is to ask yourself, how much are you white knuckling right now? How much are you white knuckling? Because it's a really understandable response to have to rising prices. I can't even believe the amount of rising prices I'm having to deal with right now. I don't know if you're having that in your world too, but I certainly am.
Yeah.
Like the white knuckling around rising of prices, or like the crazy stuff that's going on in the United States, with people being, kidnapped and taken away and, with no due process. I mean, there's like wacky stuff. And there's also revolutionary movements happening around the world right now, which is pretty interesting. I said to my kid who's Gen Z, I said, do you know that Gen Z just toppled the government in Nepal? And Sam's like, really? I'm like, yeah, the Gen Z is rising. So we're in that. And then there's also this greater authoritarianism, which is trying to maintain and deepen control. But that's what I mean, where there's like things are going in so many things. It's easy to feel like I'm white knuckling my way through this, right? And it makes me think of Sedna on the edge of the canoe going, well, my dad is kind of abusive, and the husband was abusive, and the people aren't really supporting. Like, where is she going to turn, right? Where is she going to? She has nowhere to turn, and she didn't let go. She was a girl. She was young, but we can let go. Like, we have the choice right now to be like, okay, I can just let go. I don't like the imaginal cells you were just talking about, Lauren, inside of the cocoon, right? They've let go. They let go of the old form and they dissolved into like goo. But inside of them, like you were saying, they already know where they're going. Like they already know what their direction is. Even if, I don't know what it's like to be an imaginal cell inside of really, but they can just surrender to the process. And a lot of times we have been taught by culture that we have to be a certain way. Our lives have to go on a certain trajectory. Our lives have to look we have to do certain things in order to be safe. And we're in the process of realizing that is just a straitjacket, a lot of it. And it's already shredding and dissolving, right? But you can still be white knuckling.
We're both. And
we're both, right?
I had another experience here, and that I was resisting seeing some of the changes that my mother is experiencing, elder, and my sadness. And the way I was acting was I was just, I don't know, kind of like throwing my energy against reality. Like, and this is happening, and that's happening, and she forgot this, and oh my God. And I would call my sister, and then she forgot this again, and she doesn't know where her car keys are, and what are we going to do? And at some point, this voice in me was like, go outside and be with the wind. I was also mad that it was so windy and I wanted to be out spending more time outside. It was so windy. The wind was just whipping. And I was like, well, I'm someone who works with the elements. And this is so I went outside and I was like, okay, winds, please teach me how to be with you. And so the wind just kind of came, and I just dropped into the center of my being, and I could feel the wind just sort of rearranging my molecules, clearing out the fear and the grief that I was feeling, and boop, helping to transmute it. And we can work with the elements. They're our allies. All of the water, when you're taking a shower, you can be like, oh, water, help dissolve. This is up. Let me help dissolve. Please help me dissolve this. The wind, fire, earth, earthing, taking walks. Nature right now is magnificent. Nature is so generous, right? Always. But right now, nature's like, I'll help you out. Just be in relationship with me. Who's the Libra? You work with Libra. Be in relationship with me. Talk to me. I'm a tree. Feel my root system. I'll help you root. I'll help you ground. If you're walking and there's a river, feel the river's energy coming through you and clear. I do that almost every day when I'm home. I take walks by the river and I walk through the green and I feel the green energy clearing my field. Thank you, trees. I love you. And I feel the river as energy clearing me, because I see clients. I'm an acupuncturist and shamanic healer. So I'm seeing clients all day. So these elements are clearing me, and then the roots of the trees help ground me. And I'm offering my love and my appreciation. By the time I'm done with the walk, I'm feeling pretty good. And it doesn't cost anything and nature is so generous. Yeah. One of the ceremonies, because Virgo does love ceremony, that I would like to share with you that is a fun thing to do with water.
And one thing I just want to say, Lauren, to those of you who are watching, because we're coming up on our hour here, is if you do have comments or questions, please do start popping them into the chat where you are. Not necessary if you don't, but if you do, let us know so we can have a few minutes for that. But yeah, tell us about the ceremony.
So the same shaman that took me into the wilderness and this apprenticeship training that I was in with him many, many years ago, taught us to do something called a water ceremony. And it's a beautiful ceremony that I think is a very like beautiful Virgo ceremony, where you take a glass of water or like a jar, and when you wake up and you go outside and you just bring it up to the sun, and you let the rays of the sun come through that water, and you welcome the sun, and you feel the earth beneath you. And I always like to breathe the sun into my body and root it down into the earth, but that's optional. And then you just set your intentions for the day to find my earth, to find my inner stability, to find that 0 point, to get clear about my intentions, what my next, whatever it is. Or you could just say peace, love, and the sun, the source of life, will help create a tincture out of that water. And then you offer some to the earth always first. And then that's your mother water for the day. And you drink it all day, or you put it in your soups and you put it in your smoothies, and it's like a little tincture made just for you. And I love that. And another piece of this is sometimes what I have people do, particularly after soul retrieval or some type of spiritual kind of deep medicine, is I have people put water on their nightstands and before bed, and just invite in your guides and teachers and healers, the medical teams who come from love and compassion and service to all and harm to none, those who love you so much, to support you in the dream time, to offer you healing dreams or dreams of guidance, and also to put into the water healing frequencies that you might need, or frequencies that will support you in having aha moments. And then you wake up and you drink the water. It's just little simple everyday rituals that you can do if you want to for this time.
I love that. I love that. And actually, Kelly Kolodny, who channels Archangel Raphael, they have been talking about water a lot. And he was saying that just bless your water. Just and actually said if 30% of people on the earth bless their water, we will get unity, which I think is just a powerful thing to think about. Just simple, like blessing your water. But I actually want to share a story and then a comment about the equinox, and then we're going to need to wrap up here pretty soon. But which is, I have a friend who has had a really challenging. See, we're women of an age where my mother's already gone, but some of us still have our moms, and they're changing. Right. And her mom has had a lot of challenges, and she just recently had to move her into a place where she can't have her stuff, basically. And she's freaked out, and they just had a challenging time. And so this friend of mine is doing fire ceremonies to just help clear out the challenges she's got with her mom. And she said every time she does one of them, she's like, feels great for days. She's like, I feel so much better. So that's another thing you can do. And it can be either more formal, like you can have a fire in your fire pit and do a whole thing. You can also just write things down, light a candle and burn it and put it in your sink and get rid of your ashes that way. Like it can also be simple, but using the elements. And of course, I'm like an Aries sun, so I like fire, but I like water too. And but those are simple things that you can do, because our relationships sometimes are really challenged right now, right? Because people are going through their stuff. And some of them, like this mom I was talking about, she was totally white knuckling this experience that she just had to go through, right? She didn't want to surrender, and it was hard for my friend. So it's like you may be having those situations either yourself or somebody else in your life. So being able to use the elements for that is great, because they're always available. Right? They're in you. They're all around you. All you have to do is pay attention.
And they're alive, and they're allies.
And they're benevolent.
They come more alive the more we pay attention to them. The more whatever we pay attention to grows. So we pay attention to the earth and the elements and the love and the gratitude and the reciprocal blessings. And those reciprocal blessings and those synchronicities just get stronger and stronger. And the trees appreciate it. The elements appreciate it. Spirit loves it when we are ceremonial and when we are paying attention and allowing the magic to happen. So this is a very magical time, and it's a very time of deep transformation and deep diving. And a lot of events happening in the world that are overwhelming and chaotic and crumbling all. But like I said, we came here with teams to help us, and we came here to be friends with one another and to help each other. And
Yeah.
and that quantum changes are not linear, and to remember that, and that we're in a time of quantum growth and change. It is not linear. And if you look at a seed, when a seed is rooting out, it's so incredibly chaotic looking, and we are rooting out. We are metamorphosizing into a different human. Our DNAs, we are actualizing. We're bringing more into form than we ever have before on this planet, or maybe back when we were in Lemuria. And who knows when. In terms of the timing of all of this, it's hard to really say in a linear way, but we know that our job is to be part of the transition team, and to in our own lives to recalibrate and to heal, not from a place of deficiency, but from a place of joy.
And I do want to give you one inspiration perhaps for the equinox, because a lot of times we talk about the equinox as a day of balance, right? That it's the same light, as darkness, which I think is not actually 100% technically true. But anyway, let's just say it's true. But one of the things that really struck me this year as I was feeling into it is it's a day of global connection. It's a day when everyone on the earth is experiencing the sun and the earth in the same relationship. It only happens on the equinox, right? When we're on the solstices, we're as far away from each other as possible in the south and north, right? But then on the equinoxes, the entire earth, right, is experiencing the same relationship to how much sun there is and how much night there is. And so and this happening on Monday, which is the day we start the Best Poised Challenge, which is, I did that on purpose because it's a seed point, and it's a point where we can really, if you do any of these things that Lauren is suggesting or that I said, or just even go for your walk and just be like, wow, I am experiencing the same thing today that everybody on the planet, no matter where they are, no matter what's happening to them, we are having a global human experience and beyond human, living earth experience, and see if you can have that be a little bit more of a portal into the experience of unity consciousness, because it really is extraordinary. It only happens twice a year, right? And so if you realize that it is something that can heal us in a way that's very unique. So we do have one question, Bogdana, if you're still here. She said, can you tell us more about the role of Venus during the eclipse?
Well, yes, Venus is being held in one of the hands of God. So Venus is very important. There's so much astrology that I didn't talk to you about. It's every possible big conversation between the planets is happening. It is such a huge wave that I have made an audio, and it will be on my website, laurenjubelirer.com, in the audio section if you want to listen to it with all the details. But Venus, first of all, Libra is an incarnation of Venus, and Mars is also in a yod. So both Venus and Mars are really prominently featured in this, and it really is asking us, to balance the masculine and feminine principles within us, and to celebrate beauty and love, and how and to come to a place of deeper value and appreciation of ourselves. That's what I would say.
Yeah. And there is a lot of people are talking about, I know Pam Gregory's done 2 really in-depth videos about it. It's a lot of technical stuff. So if you're an astrologer, you like that kind of stuff, it's good. But and one of the things that she's been saying, which I think, you agree with more or less, Lauren, is that this astrology is unique.
Yeah.
Like it hasn't happened before, and it may not happen again.
My friends and I who are astrologers are like, it just keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger every year, every time we talk about it. And right now it's like hard to even, it's like, wow, but we're in a wow moment. I mean, are things are not normal, both the amazing frequencies of light and also some of the things that are birthing in the world that you know that are happening, that are amazing, that are and also the profound crumbling and unraveling of things that we got used to being in our life, you know, and that we are all being asked to make changes in ourselves and to trust and to leap. And one little thing I do want to say is that Saturn and Neptune are conjunct. They're going to have another conjunction exact in February, and then in the spring, around the spring equinox, Saturn is in a sign for 2.5 years, and Neptune stays in a sign for about 14 years. So Saturn's going to leap forward in the spring. So if you're, a lot of what people are saying about this time is that it's a release and a reset and a renewal, and also setting your intentions. Then who are you becoming? Some of you don't know yet. Some of you do know, and you need to have the courage to take the steps that you need to take, however imperfectly they may be, to do the thing that you know. You've gotten the vision, and now it's time to take the steps. Some of you, you know, you're still receiving the vision, isn't clear yet. And when Saturn steps forward, Saturn, which is that bring spirit into matter, to bring things into form, and also teaches us to grow through challenges and through and to grow and to mature into the next level of our incarnation. And so some of you, over the next 2 years, that vision that's still in the dream time will emerge into form. So that can be some of the stresses. So people are like, everyone's saying you should have this visionary, you know, it's a seed point. Set your intentions to have clarity if that's what you need to do. And then those of you who are really clear, and you will know what you're letting go of and what you're stepping into, do it.
Yeah. Do it. And also still have a beginner's mind, because I have a feeling, even if you think you know, you might be surprised.
Well, that's true. There's more unfolding that's happening. It's not what happened. Nothing is happening in a linear way.
That's why I'm like, just do the next thing.
Yeah.
Like, don't worry about it too much. That's what I keep saying, is don't worry about it too much, because I know for me, every time I try to project out into the future, it's just like, I don't know, you know, it's like I could make a plan. Like I could do that. I know how to do that. I could strategize a plan and then I could follow it. But there's a part of me that's just like, it's just a mystery. Right. And that can be very triggering and unsettling, because you're like, but I'm used to being able to do the thing. Right. But I think that's part of what we have to let go of.
Well, what Neptune does is Neptune operates on intuition and guidance, and Saturn operates on hard facts, and they're together. And so, and Neptune's stronger right now. And so Neptune will give you information on an as need to know basis. Neptune usually gives you the next few steps, and not necessarily the whole thing. And so that's what you also have to get used to. The process that we're in is about following inner guidance, trusting it, and then finding the practical, tangible ways to bring it into form. And oftentimes those ways are different from what we're used to, because we've changed more than we realized. And so is everyone else, and so is the world.
Yeah, exactly.
We need each other more than we ever have. And so we also need to find ways to collaborate and to help heal each other, and to be at those round tables together, working things out and working out our differences as well.
Yeah. Yeah. And I do want to just say, just remember that you are being held in the vessel of love all the way through this. Even you don't have to even know human design. If you just are like, wow, the vessel of love, just feel into what that could be for you, right? It's a vessel that can hold you, and it's right here in your heart. And you can just be that and come into that when, you know, other things are happening, and just come into that still point right into the center of your heart. And that this is, it's kind of like your cocoon, right? That vessel of love is like the cocoon you're dissolving in, and that's okay. And I just think, I don't know, the messages I keep getting is, because I keep asking my higher self, come on, tell me what's going to happen. Come on. And, you know, and she just keeps saying, you know, she's like, what is going to happen is so far beyond what you can imagine from where you are right now. It would not make any sense. That's why we just keep saying, just keep going, do the next thing, do your practices, heal what needs to be healed, release what needs to be healed, fuel yourself, love yourself, and it's going to be okay. Right? Just keep going for that. So I want to just end with saying that, right? To just remember that even when your mind wants to know more, right? It can't know more right now. Like, and if it makes up something that it thinks is going to be true, be prepared for it to be adjusted later on. It's one of the things Lee Harris said at the very beginning of the year. He was like, those of you who think you know what's going to happen, probably not. And that's okay, right? But just be prepared. Don't turn around and go, wait a minute, that wasn't what was supposed to happen. And just let yourself be with that. And just to also put in one more emphasis for those of you who maybe weren't here at the beginning, the Best Choice Challenge next week is all about hooking you up with your inner guidance. That's really the core of it. What are the things that get in our way of being able to access and trust our inner guidance, right? And how can we work with those on a regular basis so that they just keep, breaking down? Because my experience is your inner guidance and your intuition is right there and it's just ready for you. But if your mind is too active, there's too much fear in your body, it's hard to get at it, and it's hard to trust it. And it might feel like you're a little like this. So how do we keep growing ourselves so that inner guidance is available, and that we can grow into really trusting it over time? Because sometimes we think our inner guidance is our fear, and it's not, right? So that's, I think, one of the big practices that we're in right now. So I'll make sure to put Lauren's link to her website and stuff down below if you want to go get her audio, find out more about her work. And Lauren, how would you like to just close us out for today?
So why don't we just take a few breaths? Maybe put your hand on your belly and one on your heart. And I just want to thank you all for being present and giving us your attention and attention to these times. And just feel your feet on the ground. And just invite in the breath. And allow your shoulders to relax. And just notice this beautiful, brilliant sun above your head. This is the equinox sun. She has a transmission and she has a message for you. So breathe that sun in through the top of your head and right into your heart. And feel it like warm liquid honey melting you. And then exhale that light through your whole body. And do that 3 times. In through the top of your head. Warm honey melting. And exhaling through your whole body. One more time. And let that sun radiate and just ask, is there any guidance? Is there a transmission or guidance you have for me? And just take a few breaths into your heart and feel what's coming through.
Beautiful. Mine was keep sharing the love. That was the message I got. If you want to, you can pop it in the chat what you got. Yeah. And if you're watching the recording later, you can pop it in there too. Yeah. So thank you, Lauren. Thank you.
Mine was keep it simple.
Keep it simple. Yeah. I love it. It's just like, it doesn't have to be so complicated, right? It's like, keep it simple, keep sharing the love, right? If we can just do that, we're all good. All right, my friends, thank you so much for being here. We're going to sign off for now. And please, if you valued what we shared today, please do send this to friends of yours. Please do share the video, because it is a way that we can help support other people while we're going through this time as members of the transition team. Right. All right, my friends, many blessings. Much love. Bye for now.